Welcome back, guys. Hope you're all well. Right, so today we're going to be talking about Medal of Honor on the PlayStation 2. So if you watch me regularly, you'll know that I've been struggling to beat these games, and I can say now that I've finally beaten 3 of the 4 games available. So very happy. One of them in particular because I've struggled with it for the last 20 years and I haven't been able to get past the 1 level, and it's drove me crazy. But I finally did it this week and I'm very excited to talk about it. It's great. So let's just crack on. And the first one is Medal of Honor Frontline. So I mentioned in the previous video, this game has bugged me for the last 20 years since it came out in 2002. I always get stuck when I play this game on the level called Arnhem Knights. I love this game. It's really, really fun. But as soon as I get to Arnhem Knights, I just can't do it. Now, if you've ever played the game, or even if you haven't, Arnhem Knights is the level where it begins. You walk down some steps. There's a British guy leaning against the wall and he gives you your mission brief. And all you have to do is the first part, you run into some streets, you go through a couple of buildings. On the streets below, there's Nazis firing at your men. So you protect your men, kill the Nazis, very easy. The second part, you come onto a street and there's a minigun at the end of the street, an MG42. You have to get to that MG42 immediately, because if you don't, a lot of Nazis swarm in from either side of the street and a tank will come through the wall in front of you and just blow you to pieces and die. So the thing you have to do, you can't run in this game as well, which is really frustrating at times. You can only walk. So you have to stroll down the street immediately, just keep pushing forward, get to that MG42, mow down some Nazis. As soon as the tank comes through the wall and you see the wall explode, just move your MG42, blow the tank to pieces, and then you're fine. But the one thing you do have to remember, which sometimes I forgot, was where the MG42 is, the building that it's just adjacent to, there's a bloke above, and if you don't, as soon as you come off the gun, he'll just shoot you. He's a sniper. So you have to look straight up and shoot him. Pain in the arse, but yeah, I got shot a couple of times with that. And then you have the section, which is the part I always got stuck on. I only finally did it a while ago. I managed to complete this part, where you enter a courtyard and there's about 4 guys with bazookas, and a guy on a minigun on the MG42, and a couple of stragglers. And the bazooka guys would get me every time. I'd never work out how to do it. I finally figured out what you do is when you enter that area, you can go up a staircase and back around, and you come up on top above them. And there's a staircase you can stand on, and you can just lead out and take the guy out of the MG42, and you'll see the bazooka guys run around. If you're lucky, sometimes the AI guys will kill a couple of them and make it easier for you. But even if they don't, you just lean out and just gently just take one of them out at a time with a rifle or your machine gun, your Thompson, whatever is available. So that worked. But once you do that, you go down there, you drop back down to the courtyard, and another load of bazooka guys turn up, and there's some extra soldiers. And to the left, up in the building across the road, there's a guy sitting there sniping you. So you have to watch for all this. So I eventually got through all that. And then I got to the part where I was stuck, which is what I mentioned in my last video. So you enter this street, and when you get to the street, there's a tank at the end of the street and blokes everywhere. And I couldn't work out what I was doing wrong. I got about 8 bazooka rounds and I kept blasting this tank and it wouldn't blow up. And I kept getting shot by the soldiers, and I just didn't understand why I couldn't get through this part. And it's always stopped me getting to the next level. So a couple of guys left some comments on the last video. So thanks to everyone who left these comments, because they really helped me and gave me advice on how to do this. And I think it was Mooch that suggested just shoot the soldiers first and then concentrate on the tank, which is what I did, so thanks, mate. And what I found was, when you run to the end of the street, there's a doorway on the left just before you get to the tank, and it's got a window. If you dive in there, you've got more chance, because you can take out the soldier by leaning out the doorway, leaning and peeking through the window. So I killed a lot of the soldiers, and then I pulled out the bazooka, and I think it took around about 7 rounds to blow the bloody tank up. It was ridiculous. I felt like it wasn't going to ever blow up. Eventually it blows up. I'm like, oh, thank God. My health was at about half. I look across the street, and then through this doorway I can see a med kit. So I run over to get the med kit. I get shot. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Where's that coming from? I look down the street. Just there's a tank and there's like a wall. And between the two, there's a guy sitting on an MG42. And I was like, this is taking the piss. I've just had all that with the tank, and I got this dickhead to blow up on the bleeding gun. So I run in, grab my med kit, come back out. And this is where I nearly ballsed it up again. Not my fault. It was down to the PlayStation 2. The frame rate was horrific. I pulled out my rifle, so I'm like aiming down my rifle like that. I lean and peek, try and take this dude out on the gun, and the game just goes, nope, you're not doing that, and it slowed right the way down to a crawl. And as I moved the stick left, he sat there, and eventually he went like that, and then he went like that, and like this, and I couldn't get a perfect aim on the guy. So I just had to rapid fire, and luckily I managed to nail him with a headshot before my health died. I literally had about that much health, and I just managed to pop him in the helmet, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And then, of course, as soon as you kill him, I've got to find another med kit. I found one, but then more soldiers come from behind, from the left, trying to get to the MG42 to push you back, and I'm like, this is insane. So I just went for it, so I just stormed up the street, round the right, flanked them, took them out, and you've got to get to a doorway on the left where your contact is. I eventually killed the guys that were in the way and just ran to this bloody doorway. Well, slowly strolled because the game doesn't let you run. Got to the doorway, met the contact, and I was on to the next stage. Absolute nightmare, but I was just so elated to finally beat that level. Iron Knights was done. And surprisingly, there was a lot more levels after that. I wasn't expecting so many. But then the game just reverts back to its normal difficulty level, and it was a lot easier to get through. So you get some really cool stuff after that. You chase this guy, this head Nazi, across a train. You get to go into a mine. There's even a minecart level, which is bizarre as anything. I couldn't even believe it when that happened. It's on rails, but you sit on a minecart and you're just going down this track. There's Nazis popping up everywhere, but they've got explosive barrels, so you just blow the barrels up and kill them. It's a really fun little bit, actually. I quite enjoyed it. So I thought, this is great. I'm really enjoying this now. The game's back to where I was before Arnhem Knights. I can do this, no problem. I'll finish this game. I get to the final level. Man, I swear to God, I've never been so frustrated and so stressed out. You walk into this area, it's an open area. There's a door on the left, a door on the right. There's a couple of MG42s, and there's shitloads of health packs just lying around everywhere, which indicates this is going to be tough. So I just kept dying over and over again. I tried different tactics. I'd go through the left door, there was nothing in there. I went through the right door. All I could find was an air hangar with an aeroplane and a couple of Germans. I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing wrong. Then I decided, well, what I'll do, I'll just sit outside on the MG42, shoot the guys on the right, grab a med pack, move to the one on the left, shoot those guys on the left, and keep alternating until I kill them all. Because initially you see the main guy you're trying to trace, and he runs off on the cliff top and tells them all to kill you. So I figured, well, you just have to kill this wave of enemies, and then eventually you'll get to have a boss fight. It doesn't work like that. If you do that, you'll just keep dying over and over like I did. I eventually figured out what I was doing wrong, and it's very simple. And this is a bit of a thing with these Medal of Honor games, that once you work out why it seems impossible, it actually isn't. It's very easy. It's just that you're not understanding you don't know what the developer is expecting you to do. And so all you have to do is the door on the right, when that opens, is run up with your bazooka, blow those guys up. There's a couple of bazooka guys, a couple of rifle guys. You blow them up, run through the door into the air hangar. Now you turn left, kill a couple of Germans, and then when you turn back around to the right, in the left-hand corner, I noticed the door was ajar. And I thought, oh, that's weird. So I went over to the door, you click on it, you get an FMV, you get a cutscene, and it's just the bad guy and a couple of soldiers. And you go through the doorway, you kill him, it's very easy, and that's the end of the game. You jump on a plane that was prototype German jet, and off you go, fly, and that's the end of the game. And it's that simple. But when they do that, when they just swarm you with like ever spawning enemies, it makes me so angry, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, just let me work out what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to figure out what to do, and I'm just getting hammered left, right and centre, and I don't understand why they did that. It's bloody annoying, but once you understand what to do, it's very simple. But yeah, if you've never played it, at least you know how to do it, because trust me, you get so frustrated otherwise. But other than that, really enjoyed Frontline. Great graphics, great story. All these Medal of Honor games have great stories. Level design is really fun to play through, and it's still, this is the first one after the original two that I recently played through again on PS1. So you get that same sort of style with the original videos of the war, and those really cool, like I don't know what they're supposed to be, like pieces of paper basically that just tell you the mission. Very nicely done, but you also get background music, which you don't get on the original PlayStation. Yeah, great game. Really glad to have finally beaten it. That's the main thing. I've been dying to beat this game for the last 20 years. Arnhem Knights just kept defeating me, but I eventually did it, and yeah, fantastic. Right, onto the game I've just literally finished about half an hour ago, and that is Medal of Honor European Assault. So yeah, great game. Again, same bloody thing, frustrated me for no reason. So I said in the previous video, I got stuck on the first Russian mission. I was playing it on normal difficulty. I could do the first missions in North Africa, no problem at all. As soon as I got to Russia, it just beat the hell out of me, and I could not understand what I was doing wrong. Eventually, after many goes, I figured out what I was doing wrong, and I managed to complete the level. So the level itself, the first Russian level, what you've got to do is you enter a town, there's a Russian guy who calls you over, and you get into a basement, and there's a Russian commander who's like, thank you American for joining us, here's some soldiers. You then have to go through the town, there's a railgun in the town that you have to blow up, and there's a church that you have to attack where the HVT German is, the high value target. And you have to get in the church first of all, which is damn near impossible, and then kill this guy. So I tried so many times. I got in the church once, I killed him. I got out of the church, got killed by a couple of Nazis. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. Then I eventually worked it out what it is. As you're going through the town, the first thing you need to do, once you've seen that guy in the basement, you come out of the basement, turn left, go up the hill, there's a tank, blow the tank up, and there's a trench. Underneath the trench there's some ammo to grab all that, grenades, etc. Once you've done that, the right hand side of the trench, there's a little red plunger. You hit that and the railgun's in the distance. That then fires some rockets which blows the railgun up. That protects you when you go into the town. Very straightforward. Once you get into the town, you need your bazooka rounds, because I think there's 3, if I remember correctly, 3 Tiger tanks that you have to take out. You'll see them as you walk around the town, blow them up. Now the thing that I found out as I was playing this, after many frustrating attempts, when you move to the left of the head of the church, you'll find that a mission will pop up, a side mission, and there's a guy that's got an ammo dump. So you go over there, kill the 2 Germans protecting the ammo dump, put some explosives down and blow it up. You then go inside the building outside the church, there's a French bird in there, and she'll say, well done. Oh, she might be Russian, I don't know. Anyway, point is, she's like got the MG42, she's providing cover, and she tells you to go into the church and get this guy. So you go through the church gates, and one thing you want to do is just sacrifice your men, don't worry about it, because you've got L2 on this game, allows you to do basic squad commands. So use L2, send them into the breach, they'll get killed, don't worry about it. Run off to the right hand side and another mission pops up. This is the communication guy. Now you have to kill this bastard, because otherwise the game just keeps spawning Germans and you just can't get into the church, and it's a nightmare. So once I figured that out, it made it so much easier. So you just run to the right, kill that guy, lay some explosives, blow up the communications, and then there's a little ledge. You run up on the ledge, round to the right hand side, kill a few Jerrys, and there's a big hole in the side of the church. Go through the hole, kill a load of German soldiers and the HVT dude. Once you kill him, all you've got to do then is just defend the church for a couple of minutes. So there's a few soldiers come through the churchyard and the graveyard. Kill them, you're done. It was that easy. But again, it's like if you don't know how to do it, it can be incredibly frustrating when you're just dying over and over again. And it did get on my nerves massively, to be honest. I got really frustrated. So I did eventually, once I'd done that, I got to the next level. I couldn't complete that level. You have to get across a bridge and up a hill. I just getting destroyed. So in the end, I just decided that's it, I've had enough. I went back to the beginning of the game, started over and put it on Recruit, the most basic level. Now, even on Recruit, you're going to get a challenge. It doesn't let you just walk through the game at all. It will still attack you hard in parts. So that's really good. You do get a decent fight out of it. So I managed to get to that second Russian level. I figured it out, I got through it, no problem at all. You then get to the Battle of the Bulge. The Battle of the Bulge is an interesting set of levels. So the one level I was on, you have to go into a town, you go over a small bridge, and a load of guys come from the left and attack you, and there's a house on the right, guys attack you from there. You kill those guys, no problem at all. There's then some barbed wire around the entire town, and the objective is to find Manon, who is the French resistance fighter from Medal of Honor Underground. And she's hidden somewhere, she's held captive. So you've got to fight your way through this town, find Manon, rescue her. Seems simple enough. I died a couple of times, of course, trying to do this. I managed to rescue her, but I just got killed as well. Turns out there's a few different side missions. So what you want to do, the first thing you need to do is when you break through the barbed wire, you have to lay some explosives, blow the barbed wire up, which seems a little bit extreme, but there you go. To the left, there's an artillery gun. Run to the left, plant some explosives, blow it up, kill any straggler Germans. Then you'll see a tank in a shed. Don't bother trying to bazooka it or throw grenades like I did. It doesn't do anything. You need to go in the shed. Behind the tank, you'll see a little red square on the back of the tank. Just drop some explosives and blow it up. Then just make your way through the town until you find the building where Manon is. But before you do that, any artillery guns, I think there's 3 in total, blow the artillery guns. Just do as many side missions as you possibly can. Eventually you'll come across a barn. You get down into the basement of the barn and Manon's in there. You blow the door up and she's in there, but she's in there with another HVT, another high value target. So all I did is hiding behind a box in the left hand corner. So you don't go completely into the room. You get slightly into the room and just lean in with your rifle, lean and peek to the right, and go bang, 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 shoot him in the head, he's done, toast. She comes with you and runs out. This is where, again, like Frontline, the PlayStation 2 suffered with frame rate, unfortunately. As I was exiting the barn, I got attacked by a load of Germans, and the frame rate was worse than Frontline. It literally nearly came to a halt. It was that bad. I don't actually know how I managed to survive and get through it, but I did. You then run outside, there's a couple of tanks to blow up, a couple of Germans. Dead simple. But as again, once you've worked out how to do it, it's dead simple. But when you've spent about 10 goes trying to get through it and dying over and over again, and you're going to throw your controller at the wall, it's not such a good experience. So I managed to do that, and I got to the final level, which is the virus house. And this is the one I've just finished half an hour ago. Man, the virus house, it's a very short, simple level if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you've never played the game, it will make you want to scream. So the idea is this guy, that I can't remember his name, Von Schrader. You've got to find Von Schrader and kill him. He's held up in a bunker. So you have to work your way across a bit of land. And there's some Tiger tanks that you have to blow up and some bunkers with MG42s. It's all fairly straightforward. You get through all that. There's 3 tanks at the back. Again, you just walk up behind each one, lay some explosives, boom, they're done. You eventually go down the road and an airstrike comes across because a load of Germans come running at you and you panic. But an airstrike comes, kills them. As you're running down, you'll suddenly see a bloke on the right waving at you. So follow him and you have to find your way round to flank onto this bunker. And what I found was I couldn't figure out where to go at first, and I was getting stuck, and I was like, I don't understand this, what am I doing wrong? And then I noticed there's a bit of a snow mound that's above, that's against the barbed wire. So you just climb over that, and that's all you've got to do, it's easy. You make your way around, there's another Tiger tank, couple of blokes in the trenches, then you make your way up a hill, there's another Tiger tank, you don't have to worry about that. As soon as you get to the top of the hill, a plane comes over and airstrikes the tank, which is great, so it saves you bazooka rounds. You have to collect your bazooka rounds, it's essential. So get all your bazooka rounds, you've got enough to take the tanks down, but you're going to need them for the HVT as well. So when you get into the bunker, you'll get 2 MG42s either side, you kill them, put some explosives on the door, blow the door off, and you have to make your way through the bunker, and you get swarmed by a shitload of Nazis. They hammer the hell out of you in this game. I mean, I'm only playing it on the recruit on the easiest level, so dread to think what it'd be like on a harder difficulty. I'd probably really scream. So I tried this many, many, many times. I lost count of how many times I've tried to do this. So you get through the bunker, you see him, he keeps popping up, and you keep shooting at him, and he keeps running off once you've killed his soldiers. Eventually, you end up in a courtyard. When you get to the courtyard, there's a opening at the top of the wall, like a little slit. What happens is, you walk in the courtyard, there's a couple of soldiers, you shoot them, door slams behind you, he's standing up there firing down on you. You can really barely see him at all, he's really hard to shoot. And all you get is ever spawning German soldiers, and that's just all they do is just keep abseiling down the wall out of that hole. And I just kept dying. I just kept getting absolutely obliterated. Lost all my health packs, lost all my revives. Couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. Eventually, I thought, I wonder if you've got to use your adrenaline. Turns out, yeah, that's what you do. It's that easy. So all you do is when you get to the room, before you walk into the room, there's a Nazi right in front of you. Shoot that guy before the door shuts. Then walk in. When the door shuts, immediately hit up on the D-pad, activate the adrenaline, and then you'll see the HVT in that hole. And for some reason, the adrenaline prevents you from taking loads of damage, and your health hardly moves at all. So you've got all these soldiers swarming around shooting you in the face up close. It doesn't really affect your health that much. And all I did was pull out the bazooka and just went bang, took him out about 3 times. I think I had to shoot him. That kills the bastard. And the door opened. You can run out the door, back upstairs, to where he was. And he set an explosive to go off and blow the whole bunker up. So you just hit a button and stop it, and that's the end of the game. And it was so simple, but the amount of times I've tried to do it was just unbelievably frustrating, and not knowing that that's how easy it is and that's what you're supposed to do didn't really help me. But yeah, I really enjoyed European Assault. It's a great game. North Africa looks fantastic. I mean, the graphics for the time look really, really nice on this game. I like the fact that you've got side missions now. I also really enjoy the fact that you can look down the sights where you've got iron sights. So it's not like Frontline where you've got that cursor to the side of the gun like you had on the old PS1 games. Makes it so much easier to shoot people. And you've also got squad controls and you've got adrenaline. So they added a lot more into this game, and they really progressed the series, and I really, really enjoyed it. Really fun. The last one I want to talk about is the PlayStation 2 exclusive Medal of Honor Vanguard. This is great. This is like an early Medal of Honor Airborne, and I absolutely adore this game. It's fantastic. So I've played this game a few times. I've always got to the end of the game the final mission where you have to crawl through a sniper area. The snipers everywhere, and you just got to crawl around very quietly and slowly and keep popping your head out and just looking and trying to figure out where they are and shoot them. Eventually you get to a doorway, you break through the doorway, you end up in a bombed out building, and there's soldiers that come directly in front, from the left, from the right, and you get a Tiger tank, and you get about, I can't remember, I think it's something like 4, maybe 5, I think it's 4 tanks in total, one after another. And the idea is you have to run around this area shooting the soldiers. I mean, your AI guys help you a little bit, as long as they don't die. But you have to shoot them, and the bazooka rounds are dotted around the different parts of the area. So they're not always in the same area, so you have to go around and scoop as many as you can up, run up to the top of the building, take out the tank. And you have to do this, as I say, about 4 or 5 times. And I used to play it on normal. I couldn't do it. The tank would just destroy me every time. I just could not get through it. And the frame rate drops again because it's PlayStation 2, unfortunately. So this time I started the game from scratch with recruit mode, had a lot more fun, got through the entire game, got through to the sniper bit, and the sniper bit was dead simple. I actually found it very easy. It was so much better this time, and again, like the other games though, you put it on recruit, it isn't an easy game. It doesn't make it so that you just walk through and the AI is dumb and they don't shoot at you. They make sure that you've got a challenge. But I got through the sniper section, I got to the building, and to be honest, I found that when I did it, I was like, this is why I couldn't do it before, because it's absolutely solid. Even on easy recruit mode, those tanks do not hold back, and it just seems like a tank after a tank after a tank. It never seems to end, it's relentless. And then eventually when you do blow all the tanks up, you then have to mop up the final bit of German soldier infantry, and then you finish the game. It was great, it was really, really good. The level design is great. At this point they've made 4 games, so they've added the one thing that the game definitely needed, which was the run mode. Run is so important in first-person shooters. It's when you go back to games that don't have run, you realise how much you miss it, because Christ's sake, not being able to run into cover or not being able to run out of the way of something. Or I was playing European Assault and I was trying to take out a tank. I had no bazooka rounds, I only had hand grenades. I ran out of hand grenades, so I had to backtrack through the level to find hand grenades. And you can't run, so you've got to stroll through the entire bloody level, which takes like 10 minutes before you get back to where you were to blow the tank up. Nightmare. So Vanguard's much better in that respect. It's got iron sights, it's got run. It's very much like a modern first-person shooter. The level designs are really good. It does feel a lot, I mean, it probably isn't, but it feels a lot shorter than the other games. It feels really quick, over and done with. But it's my favourite of the 4. It's absolutely fantastic so far. Completed it. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed Vanguard. I definitely recommend it if you've never played the game. But yeah, I'm just really happy to have beaten 3 of the 4 games. Now, of course, that means I haven't beaten Rising Sun. I've said before, I'm not a fan of the Pacific conflict. I find it kind of boring. I prefer fighting Nazis. I'm not a big fan of fighting Japanese. But I am going to give it a shot now, because I've done these 3. I never thought I'd beat any of these Medal of Honor games on this generation. So I'm going to sit down and try and do Rising Sun next. And if I manage to do it, I'll make a video and let you know what I thought of it. So guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Have you played the Medal of Honor games from PlayStation 2, Xbox era, GameCube? And if you have, what did you think of them? Did you get stuck on any of the parts I got stuck on? How difficult did you find them? How long did it take you to figure out what to do if you did get stuck? Because it is really frustrating when you do. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it was entertaining. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Really helps me to promote my videos. And if you want to see more content, just hit subscribe, ring that notification bell. And thank you very much, guys. I'll see you very soon.